Mr. Julian, Mr. Arun Singh, uh, the SBI Managing Director, Mr. Khare, my very distinguished colleague, Mr. Somanathan, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. This very detailed study by Dun and Bradstreet is being released during the outbreak of COVID 19. The COVID 19 pandemic has been a black swan even for the global economy. Countries across the world have been grappling with this unique coronavirus and have had different degrees of success. The impact of the pandemic has been most profound across countries, and all of us have been struggling to meet the challenges posed by this. The Indian companies have been impressive in their response to the clarion call in this health and economic crisis. Our industry has demonstrated its capability of delivering quality products. Uh, they demonstrated this in PPEs, in masks, and ventilators production at a massive scale in a record time. None of these were produced in India. We've now become a leading exporter. In 2020, India actually has jumped up about 79 positions in the World Bank Ease of Doing Business from 2014 onwards. We are ranked 63rd. Our objective is to reach the top 50 and then in the next 3 years reach the top 25. Even during the COVID 19 crisis, India's FDI regime has continued to be extremely vibrant. We are amongst the most liberal in the world as far as FDI is concerned. During the COVID 19 pandemic, India has managed to attract over 38 billion worth of direct investments and almost 90% of it coming through the automatic route. As was mentioned by my colleague Dr. Swaminathan, India has carried out some huge reforms. Just to give you examples, I was in school when coal was nationalized. Today, coal sector has been denationalized and 41 large coal mines are being put up for the bidding process. The mining sector has been reformed and Indian mines are being put out again to attract private sector and international investment. The agriculture sector has seen some radical reforms, and this agriculture sector will go a long way in building efficient value chains and ensuring better returns for our farmers. The sector has also been highly resilient to the pandemic and continues to grow despite huge challenges. We've seen the definition of MSME being revised, which was pending for over 2 decades. So the government has used this crisis as a huge opportunity for reforms. And I think every reform actually will throw up opportunities for new companies to grow and prosper. Both the government and the RBI, as was mentioned by the MD SBI, have taken prompt policy measures, both short term and long term, in a calibrated manner to reinvigorate the economy with minimal damage. I would like to mention that even before the pandemic, much of China's manufacturing was in the process of shifting bases. After the pandemic, this process has accelerated, and actually, the global supply chains will get radically altered. And we in India are almost ready to capitalize on this opportunity. We've come out with the production linked incentive scheme in electronic, in mobiles, in active pharmaceutical ingredients, and pharmaceutical. The Atmanirbhar vision of the Prime Minister is a way to move forward as India would building capacity in key sectors. And this Atmanirbhar is not about producing just domestic champions. It is not about making India isolationist. It is about becoming an integral part of the global supply chain and penetrating global markets. And therefore, this study by the Dun and Bradstreet India's top 500 companies is truly a tribute to the leading companies of corporate India, for their exemplary performance. And these companies are the front runners for setting new benchmarks and can play an important part in the development of the country. And I think, as was mentioned by Mr. Arun Singh, only 130 odd companies have remained since Dun Bradstreet started this study of 500 companies. And Mr. Julian mentioned that if you look at the size and scale of these companies, they would actually be equal a country which will be 25th in the world. And therefore, these 500 countries play a very critical and significant role in India. They innovate, they do R&D, and I think most of them are very, very proficient in digitization. If you were to look at the top 10 countries of the world, 8 of these top 10 companies are actually digital companies. And therefore, digitization is cutting across sectors. But these are companies which have actually strengthened corporate governance through high level of transparency and compliance. They've built a digital economy by enabling, improving, and encouraging use of digital payments. They've done socio-economic development through corporate social responsibility. They provided support to the MSME sector, and they've developed a huge amount of jobs, and they've been built with skilled workforce. And in many of them, actually, there's been a huge application of renewable and clean energy. And therefore, these are companies which have used technology to leapfrog. These are companies which have used digitization. These are companies which are unique role models in many ways. And they have played an important role in keeping the economy growing and prospering through effective implementation of their business continuity plans and by responding in a very agile manner to the pandemic situation. And Indian corporates have actually been crucial in ensuring the success of several government policies geared towards the development of the country. There's a huge significance and importance of a harmonious relationship between the government and the businesses. And this mutual relationship, I think, will grow and prosper because India will continue to open up vast sector of areas through radical reforms. The corporate sector is the backbone of Indian economy, and they will play a very major role in building the Atmanirbhar Bharat. Uh, in my view, as we open up, as we radically reform, as we grow and progress, these companies will drive India's growth story, and they will become the key driver of India's growth. On this optimistic note, I would like to conclude my address and congratulate all the companies being featured in India's top 500 companies 2020 publication. I would also like to congratulate the leaders of corporate India for their key role in India's economic development. And I would like to once again congratulate Dun and Bradstreet for the milestone 20th edition of India's Top 500 Companies publication. And I wish them all success in the years to come. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the very best. My congratulations.